What's up, guys, gals? This is Griever back here, bringing you guys Ayakashi Triangle Chapter 19, best chapter of the series, in my opinion. My favorite chapter as of right now, because I called it happening, and I said I didn't want it to happen too soon. I didn't want it to happen too soon, but that does not mean I didn't enjoy that it happened. You know, it's sort of like certain moments in shonen endings. We all know that shonen endings are generally bad and rushed because, you know, doesn't matter if it's 5 years running or 20 years running. They eventually go, okay, you got to hurry this up, and we're going to cancel you. We'll let you do like 3 sequel series after this for some ungodly reason, but we need you to wrap up the main core that made us so much money in volume sales. I never understood it. Either way. And what am I talking about? We're not really going to go through this chapter. Here's what happens. They fight. And this dude, this guy fights dirty. Okay? This Sosuke dude, you know, who's a Jinyo or whatever, he fights dirty. He is, once again, Toriko spoilers in 3, 2, 1. So if you haven't seen or read Toriko, really, I'm serious. If you haven't, don't listen to this part. Seriously, because it's so goddamn good. Go read it. But, that being said, spoilers, this dude is the Neo Demon. He's a damn Neo Demon, and I love it. It's reminding me so much of those type of, you know, like you got your Food Wars manga, you got your Toriko manga, there was that other food-based one, there was a Addicted to Curry, but there was another one that I'm trying to think of. Anyways, where they all have, it's all about the flavor, and all about the creating the ultimate dish and stuff, and the crazy manifestations that they use to represent this type of thing. And that's pretty much what happens. Is at the end of the last chapter, Matsuri showed up, socked him in the face, and went, sit down. That didn't work out so well, because now it's sort of like a paralyzed. We've seen this in so many different mangas. It's in like Hunter x Hunter with the Nen system. You have the jutsus that can do this, you know, paralyzing potions and whatever other animes. Like, there's so many different ways. Prince of Tennis even has it, you know, the stealing of the senses. It's sort of like the Jinyo. I mean, this is working on a different sort of idea, but I compare it almost to like chakra sort of idea, the spiritual energy, or like Bleach with the spirit energy inside of each person, right, in each soul being. And this is cutting that off. It's just, you know, it's out here and then it's, right? So I know that wasn't a very good, you know, I could do the thumb trick that everybody does, but nah. Anyways, point is that that's what happens, is that every single time, this is what Sosuke tells Matsuri. He's like, hey, you jumped into the middle of something, but here's the deal. You shouldn't be so reckless to do that, because my ability, and he starts forming himself, looks like the world ends with you sort of creature, basically goes, my ability is to steal the Haku out of your anything it touches. So in this case, your arm. You know, you attacked me with your arm, I attacked your arm back, you know, so now you can't feel your arm. At first, Matsuri, it's the sensation that it's gone, like he ate it. But then it's like, okay, no, it's there. It's just I can't feel it. I can't put any strength into it. It went limp. And he's like, all right, so this is my ability. So Matsuri continues to try to fight him, and he's worried, like he doesn't seem to be able to get an upper hand, and he's worried, and he's like, no, Soga is fighting really hard, or Ninokuru is fighting really hard right now, and all this stuff, and I need to protect Suzu, and all this stuff. And in the meantime, we have Shirogane managing to defeat all the lower level ones, even sealed as he is, wondering if he should have told or helped out or given some of this information to Suzu and Matsuri, the things he's thinking about with the Jinyo and all that stuff. He's just like, no, I'm the king of the Ayakashi. I can't align myself with humans, right? And I said this type of thing would happen. He's still going to go on that line. He's still going to go on the line of, I'm the king of the Ayakashi. Humans are wrong. He was probably abused or misused or something. Usually a good villain, especially one that is conflicted like that in that gray, usually has a reason. Even like you got Sosuke Aizen who had it. You had the Neo Demon, or more so, what's his name? Akira, not Akira. Akasia. What was another big one? Hao from Shaman King. Hao Asakura, very tragic in what happened with him. You know, so many different villains. Good villains have that sort of idea, and Shirogane isn't, as we know, a full-on villain, but that's his line of reasoning. Nope, can't do this because I'm this. You know, Vegeta did it in the Buu Saga, same idea. Like, I'm a bad guy. This is what I do. He couldn't help but try to save them at the end of the day. So, same deal here. Shirogane's, still going on that line, still living that lie when he's already, warmed up to these people, and he wouldn't want harm on them in any real fashion at this point. And as I said, I wanted this moment to happen much further down, like when we get into the next arc, the next big arc, and like sort of call it the Soul Society arc, or the the Greed Island arc, or like a full main arc or something like that, right? I wanted that, and I wanted to see it. And then it happened at the end, but it's happened a little soon, but I don't mind it so much, because basically what ends up happening is Matsuri continues to fight, and Jinyo, or I keep calling him Jinyo, Sosuke the Jinyo Ayakashi, basically says, why would you trust, I am this, like, I'm the closest, he keeps going on this line, like, I am the closest Ayakashi to humans. Why would you trust a word I said? Because remember, he's built off of the negative aspects and the negative emotions of human beings. So, of course, we're cheats, we're greedy, we're liars, the 7 deadly sins, all that fun jazz. That's what he knows as being human. So, our faults, none of our virtues. So, though they're looking kind of slim these days, but still, he only has that negative aspect of being a human, and he thinks that's why he's the closest. He can take the form and all that, but he's the closest one. And he said, so why would you trust me? That's not exactly, I do this. We don't really get an explanation. We see the teeth, we see the jaw, the sort of the dwarf in the flask looking thing, chomp, 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 from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. But either way, we're not actually given an explanation as to how he does it then. It's not done by touch, it's not done because Matsuri tries a different way of attacking with his wind, with his cone, with his technique, but he gets chomp, chomp, chomp all over, to the point that he's taken all the Haku. He was telling the truth about that much. He does take the Haku. The method he uses is different, and now he's basically like, yeah, you can sense Haku, can't you? To Suzu, and says, Matsuri, for all intents and purposes, is dead right now. I just ate up like 95% of his Haku. He's, for all intents and purposes, he did. And, Suzu, starts weeping, she starts crying, now she's in despair, and of course, once again, this is where we get the Neo-Demon stuff, the gourmet, I have that flavor, the flavor of despair, the ultimate dish, screams, let me hear your screams. So, that is exactly what's happening here, and he's ready to devour the flavor of the ultimate dish when, bam, Shirogane shows up and says, I am the king of the Ayakashi. And it's just like, it's so good the way this goes down, because all of a sudden, like second or third last page, we see that once again that mouth that looks like, gluttonies or the dwarf in the flask sort of idea, right? Opening up, ready to devour, and Suzu is boom, disappeared. And Sosuke automatically realizes who this is from and looks down at Matsuri. We see the scroll with Matsuri unconscious and, well, dead. The scroll has actually opened up or whatever, or Shirogane crept in and opened it, or whatever. He did whatever he needed to do to open the scroll. The scroll has now been released, so the God Sealing Scroll is now open, and Sosuke even mocks him about this, saying, you took that as an opportunity to release the seal. That just makes you a petty thieving cat. While Shirogane, looking like an absolute boss, Suzu on his back, basically saying, nonsense, I am the king of the Ayakashi. And then we get the flame symbol sort of idea of, it seems to be, I'm not really sure what these last two panels are doing. It looks like the back of Matsuri's head, and then the symbol that is on Matsuri's stomach, the gender bender symbol, is now engulfed in flames. So I'm not really sure what this is signifying or what this is trying to tell us. But either way, one thing I did notice, I'd never noticed this before, I'd have to go back. Shirogane has 6 limbs. I'd never noticed that before, because at first I was like, does he have a 5th arm? Is he just materializing a 5th one to go, look at my claws, bitch? But no, he actually has 3 on one side, 3 on the other. I never noticed before. I thought he always looked badass. I love this design. This design is so goddamn cool, so I'm glad we're seeing it. Once again, I had hoped that this type of moment was more built up, a little more emotional, and it led to this sort of thing where Shirogane goes, no, these are my humans, you don't kill my humans, like Suzu and Matsuri, you do not touch them. regardless that I am the king, and I am the king, and I'm laying down the law, right? Usually when you have a story like that, like the Lucifer TV series, you always have these characters that are the king, the devil, God himself, overpowered as hell, but then they start to be attached to, these other, the humans and the weak people and stuff, and they're still like, no, I'm the big bad, but when it comes to threatening them, then they start to lose their shit, and they're like, no, we're not going to do that. So once again, this isn't an original thing. I had called it a chapter or two ago, but it doesn't mean I don't like it, guys. This was fire. I love this. Shirogane back in full form. This means that chapter 20 is going to be a fight, and it's going to be Shirogane versus this guy, and I have a feeling Shirogane, because he said, I managed to wound this guy, but this was a new brand of Ayakashi we had never seen. I was unaware of his abilities and how he fought. He caught me off guard. Shirogane's at full form and now knows what to look out for, knows what this guy can do, and he's not going to take this lion down. He ain't no petty thieving cat. He's the king. He's the goddamn Lion King, and he is ready to rumble. So I can't wait for this. This chapter was fire, guys. He's going to protect Suzu, of course. He's got an attachment now to the characters. I had hoped that before this moment, as I said before, I keep harping on this, maybe, chapter 40, 50, sort of that range, so we could build up a few more sweet moments between them. But right now, it doesn't feel out of place, and I'm just stoked to see the next chapter. So what did you guys think? I thought this chapter was fire, my favorite chapter so far, probably just because of the hype. But either way, really enjoyed this chapter. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe as always. Don't forget to hit that bell notification if you want to know every single time I drop a video. And don't forget to drink responsibly. As always, we'll see you back here next time. Don't also forget to vote. If you are in America, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to make this a political statement. I'm just going to say make sure you vote, because we don't need that dope back. All right, and this is from a Canadian. So, sort of that watching from the other side of the fence and watching a building burn to the ground. So let's make sure that you all go out there and vote. If you think your vote doesn't matter, prove it all wrong. Go out and vote. Make sure to do that, because it's winding down fast. So anyways, that's my message for this video. We'll see you back here next time, ladies and gentlemen.